Dom, first of all, just looking back on Tuesday night and over the last couple of weeks, feels from the outset or from the outside looking in that you've turned a corner after those 5 straight defeats last month, unbeaten so far in November. What's the feel amongst the group like at the moment?
To be fair, the confidence is high around the camp at the moment. Especially, even though we haven't won, our performances have still been high. And I think that's always been in our mindset where even though we haven't been picking up as much points as we want to, our performances are still there. And, since we've been working hard, it's starting to pay off and it's starting to show now.
Were you yourselves aware of the Tuesday night home league curse that the team hadn't won for 5 years since yourself and Ryan Jackson were in a previous Chills 11?
Yeah, to be fair, I read that stat literally after the game, and it kind of took me by surprise. It's been that long, but it just shows what can happen in football when you work hard and you just keep putting performances together, which we did on Tuesday.
How about yourself? How have you found it since you've come back into the dressing room? How do you feel like you've settled?
I feel like I've settled in pretty quickly. The boys have welcomed me, and so has the coaching staff and the manager. They've all welcomed me like one big family, and it's starting to show on the pitch as well.
Has it helped the fact that you knew the club previously and you were here before?
Yeah, that plays a massive factor. I know the club's history and stuff when I was here a few years ago. So, it was a no-brainer coming here in the first place.
How would you describe your season so far? Because certainly from your own point of view, you've been playing out wide as well as down the middle. Some high points, including that game in the previous round of this FA Cup competition. Just sum up your season so far for us.
I feel like me on a personal note, I think my performance, if I'm looking at it as like a overall career stat at the moment, I feel like my performances are more consistent. But, I feel like as well, if I was to be a bit harsh on myself, I should be getting a few more goals than I have done. But sometimes in games, it's not always going to fall for you like that. Sometimes you just got to put the work rate first. And I feel like, especially this league, it's getting harder every year. And, I think you just got to put the work rate first and then the goals second. But, once you start blending them in together, when the hard work pays off, the goals will start coming in. And I feel like they are starting to come in now.
Because you had such a flying start, didn't you, in your first game? And then going back to the game at the weekend against Charlton, at one stage you were basically playing on the left-hand side of midfield. So it's not been plain sailing in terms of you being the main striker down the middle. You're often playing in a number of roles. How have you found it?
Yeah, I've always said, in football, you've always got to learn to play more than one role. And, I know how to play on the wide position as well. So, sometimes as a player, you just got to be prepared to, if you're going to play in another position, just make sure you're as 100%. And if you was to play in your main position as well. And, that's what the gaffer likes to do. He likes to change it up sometimes. And as a player, you just got to be ready and just always stay 100%.
Left or right? What's your preference? Saw you cutting in off the left a few times at the weekend.
Yeah, it was on the right, but I feel like you said, I like to come in on my right, so I think I prefer to play on the left if I was to play on the wide flanks. But obviously, my main position, and I feel most stronger, is down the middle.
I guess when you're playing left as well, and Jordan Graham's whipping across those balls, it gives you the freedom to make a run in towards the penalty spot, towards the far post, and we saw that in the previous round against Woking, didn't we?
Yeah, Jordan, he's been terrific this year so far. The stats speaks for itself. As soon as he gets on the ball, he's going to put it in the box, and 9 times out of 10, it's going to get to one of our players. So when you've got a player like that in your team, you just got to make sure you're at the right place at the right time. So there's no excuses when he does put the ball in the middle of the box. Sorry.
As someone that's played recently in the Championship, do you feel like Jordan is a player that's capable of playing that level and maybe higher?
Yeah, I've always said that, especially to myself, really. I've always looked at Jordan and thought he should be playing higher. But, everyone has different career paths. Sometimes some people might start from the lower league and work their way up, or sometimes might be from the middle and work their way up. But, I have no doubt that he will eventually be playing in the higher league than we are now.
I guess for yourself as well, the fact that you've come back down to this level, but now you're starting to find consistency in terms of your form, but also your fitness. How important has that been for you?
Yeah, that was like one of the main things, especially without going into too much detail, that I had in the summer. Things didn't really fall for me. So, sometimes I had to look at it where I have to start again. And, starting again is whether you have to drop down a league or whatever. Just make sure that you get the right team, and you start playing consistent and you start, playing well in every game. And all that comes with like the fitness and the sharpness and getting the goals in. So, sometimes starting again is not always a bad thing. It's just, just getting things back on track, I guess.
In terms of the FA Cup, what are your experiences in the competition, both, I guess, as a player, but also when you were younger and watching the competition growing up as a kid?
Yeah, I've always been watching like FA Cup matches ever since I was a little boy. And, it's true, there is magic stuff that happens in the FA Cup. It's never an easy game in the FA Cup. But, we like to go far in this cup. I would personally like to go far in this cup as well. So it is something to look forward to.
Who was your team growing up?
So I was supporting Chelsea. I still am a Chelsea supporter, to be honest. But yeah, it's always been Chelsea.
So if you could get the victory at the weekend, a trip to Stamford Bridge would be on your wish list, would it?
Yeah, that would be, yeah, definitely on my wish list to, go to Stamford Bridge and win as well. So, you just never know in the FA Cup, but like I keep saying, you've got to just get through the next game.
Have you played in the third round before in your career so far?
Yeah, I played in the third round when I was at Blackburn. So I think the furthest I've ever gone is to like the fourth round, to be honest. So I haven't gone further than that. So hopefully this time round, with the performances that we've been putting in, hopefully we can go to the fourth round and hopefully further.
When you talk about the magic of the FA Cup and the possibility of upsets, you managed to avoid one in the previous rounds by coming from behind against Woking. How dangerous do you think Saturday's opponent in Exeter City will be?
I have no doubt in my head that it will be like an easy game or whatever. I know it's going to be a hard game because, like you said, when we played against Woking, even though they are in a lower league than Exeter, they still made it a tough game for us. And, any team that's in this cup competition at the moment will not make it easy for any team, really. So going into this game, we're not going to be thinking, that a team a league below, we're going to take it lightly. We've got to take it like it's a proper league game and like we're playing like a top team in the league. So, if we go in with that mindset as well, I'm sure we'll have no doubt into getting into the next round.
They're known as quite an exciting team as well. They score goals. They've produced quality players over the years, like Ollie Watkins started out there. Are you expecting them to come at you and try and attack you?
Yeah, me on a personal, I don't really like to look at other teams. I always like to know that the team that we've got, and if you was to go through our squad and see the players that we've got, some people from the outside in will be looking at the players that we've got and be thinking, yeah, this team can go all the way. So, they might have, produced like quite a lot of players, but I feel like the squad that we've got, we can still, hurt teams no matter what team they are.
Sure. And have you guys amongst the squad chatted at all today? Obviously, there's been some news about the tier system, and with Medway in tier 3, it means, unfortunately, we're not going to see fans return to Priestfield as soon as might have been potentially possible. How much of a miss is that? And have you guys discussed it at all?
Yeah, we spoke about it today. It is a shame that, we're in tier 3 at the moment, but I guess it is safety first. And, if that's what it takes to keep the death rate down and stuff and to keep people safe, then it's got to be done. But, hopefully things can change soon and the fans can start coming in.
Sure. Thank you, mate. That's great for me.
Thank you.
Jules, all yours.
Okay, thanks. Hi, Dom. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can.
Great. Dom, a lot of people talk about the first round of the FA Cup, the third round when the Premier League comes in, but this second round sometimes goes not unnoticed, but maybe it isn't as noticed as, say, those first and third rounds. Does it lose any of the magic for you, this second round?
No, I think personally it's still a magic round for me, on a personal note. Even in like the early rounds of the FA Cup, like on Saturday, it's still, you can still face quite good enough like League One teams, or you could face like lower league teams. And sometimes some players might not look at it this way, but I always look at it where I've never really played a lower league team before, so it's still a new experience to me. And I've seen the FA Cup before, and anything can happen. I've seen loads of things happen in the FA Cup, so to me it's still like a magic round, should I say.
What would it mean to you to get to the third round and perhaps draw a Premier League side?
Really, that's where people say the third round, that's where it kicks in, because like you said, you've got the Premier League teams and stuff. But, I think we would like to play, if we do get to the third round, which I have all confidence we will, I would like to test ourselves against maybe a Championship team or, a Premiership team, just to see how far off we are, or if we're far off, So it's always like a challenge in our heads that we would want to look at it.
We know how much that meant to you, that goal at the weekend. What would it mean to you to replicate that performance this weekend coming?
As a striker, you just want to keep scoring and scoring, no matter what game it is, whether it's a cup game or a league game. And, I feel like I'm starting to find the rhythm now, and hopefully I can take it into Saturday as well.
As Ben talked about, the fans won't be there for some time, sadly, for Gillingham and being in that Tier 3. What does it mean to you to have fans there in the stadium?
Fans make a massive difference. They, even when things ain't going your way in the game, they're always still there supporting you and stuff. So, for fans not to be able to watch us is kind of a downfall. But hopefully as the season comes on, and hopefully if we get into like a better league position as well, and they start letting fans in, hopefully that'll be the right time to, and then we can push on and see where it takes us towards the end of the season.
That's great for me, Dom. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Lewis, if you want to chip in, because I don't think Matt is asking questions, so it's all yours, Lewis.
Cool. Hi, Dom. Great to see you again. It must have been nice on Saturday. You've come, I think it's fair to say, come to expect pinpoint crosses from the right via Jordan Graham, but now it seems you've got them coming from all directions, from all sorts of players.
Yeah, during the last few games, I'll say the last 5 or 6 games, should I say, Jordan Graham, he's been assisting, quite a lot of people. And, for a change, it's actually come from someone else. So it just shows that, the players that we got in our team, we don't always have to rely on one player. Some teams might look at it and think we could try and play it to Jordan, let him do his magic and try and get it in the box. But now we've got other options where other players can get into the game. And now it gives other teams thoughts in their head in who to mark and which key player to man mark and stuff. So, it just shows that the good quality that we've got in our team.
And you said a bit earlier on that you felt like you had to perhaps start again a bit. Steve Evans said after Tuesday's game that they've had to work on get your fitness up, that sort of thing. Do you feel like you're a bit sharper now as well?
Yeah, training's been high intensity every session, and it is starting to it does show in our performances. Even though sometimes some results hasn't gone for us, but as a team, and especially as me as an individual, I feel like my fitness and sharpness has got a lot better than it has been, and it's only improving.
And you spoke earlier on about sort of playing out wide on the left and the right through the middle. There is a lot of versatility in the team, isn't there? One player that sort of springs to mind is Robbie McKenzie, who featured all over the park, and now he's excelling in a defensive midfield role.
Yeah, like I said earlier, nowadays you've got to learn to play more than one position. And with Robbie, he whatever position he plays, he puts in 100%. And I feel like, you're always going to need a player like that in your team that can cover most positions. And when he does cover that position, he does it with 100%. And I think that's what he's got.
Great depth as well and competition for places. Obviously, we see a bit of rotation up top, the likes of Henry Woods coming off the bench on Saturday. How is the competition within the squad?
Yeah, I think, it's good to have that competition because, that you're always going to be looking over your shoulder. If you're not doing the job, then someone else can come in. And I feel like sometimes when you have competition, it makes you perform better because you want to be playing week in, week out. So it's good that you've got that competition so you don't get too comfortable. And, with the squad that we've got, the players that we've got, it's only going to improve us as a team.
Yeah, on Tuesday that was, sorry. But I remember you saying after the Woking game, you said a bit earlier on, you've never really had a proper FA Cup run. Does that perhaps change the way you approach these sort of games?
Yeah, me personally, like I would love to go as far as I can in this competition. Some other players might think it's just another added fixture onto the season and it's going to add longer onto the season. But with me, I've always wanted to go far in this competition. So no matter what team we play, whether it's a team in the conference or in the league, I would always take it serious because I want to try and go as far as I can in this competition.
Just finally, we did mention the tier system and the new lockdown ruling coming in. Unfortunately, again, fans won't be allowed in Priestfield for a while. Would it be possible for me to get a direct message to fans for their support and sort of those watching from home?
Yeah, I just like to say, we are missing the support from you guys. Hopefully it's not too long now until you guys can come back into the stadium and support us. But if it's better to stay safe at home, then make sure you stay safe at home and look after yourselves. And hopefully by the time you guys do come in the stadium, it's more towards the end of the season and we're more into like the playoff positions, and then that's when the real support should be start coming in.